Hello and welcome back. Now, here on the S10 budget build, you can see there is some wiring harness laying around. I'm actually getting ready to install the wiring harness finally. Now, it's a throttle body obviously. This whole wiring harness is out of the same 94 GMC heavy half that I pulled the engine and transmission out of, so I know everything works with it. Now, I probably could have went ahead and spliced only what I needed into the original harness out of this S10, but after taking that out, looking it over, and seeing several of the things that they had cut, butchered, and some of the wiring that's already falling apart, well, I thought it would be best just go ahead and use this factory harness that's a little bit newer. It is not modified in any way. It is exactly as it was out of the truck stock. So getting anything replacement for it is going to be fairly easy. Now, some of the only problems that I may run into in tightening this up and making this wiring look good is actually the length. Such as this part of the harness itself, which is actually quite long. This would have actually went down under the cab, along the frame wheel, to the fuel pump, and then to the back harness for the tail lights and everything back there. Now, that was a heavy half and it was a long bed, so I have a lot of excess wiring here. Now, luckily, since this is actually going to go down the frame rail under the truck, you won't see it. There's several options I can do in order to keep it nice and neat and tidy. I probably can either cut it down and shorten it, take out some section here, or I can leave it as is, just make it work, rolled up somewhere. Don't really feel like doing that too much, kind of just in case it falls out or something along the way. Now there's that. I have all the front for the headlights and turn signals. For the most part, everything looks like it's going to work. So I'm going to tuck that in and try to make that nice and hidden under here as much as I can. Now, all this over here, unfortunately, going to be a different story. Now, this side of the harness, well, that's where mostly everything is. Most of my sensors, everything plugs in for the injection, everything is on this side. And no, I didn't do what most people do, and I didn't label anything, but that's alright, for the simple fact that this TBI system is fairly well simple, so I wasn't really too concerned about it. Now the only thing I got is this area right here that came through the cab on the passenger side. I'm going to have to figure out something to do with it, because this runs back in to the computer. Now, I may move the computer, or I may put it back under the dash. I'm not 100% certain on that just yet, but as I go along and get this installed and see where everything's at, because I'm going to start from where it comes out through the firewall on that side. I'm going to work it over. I do have the end here that will go down to the transmission. I won't be able to plug that in or actually run the other harness back to the rear just because of how the weather's been lately. The ground is so wet that even with 2 or 3 shipping blankets on the ground, it's still soaking through and actually getting my feet and my pants and everything wet, so it's still pretty wet and soggy. So I'm just going to get those temporary set up and get them where they as close as I can. But the rest of this up here, and get to work on it. Now also, here's the inside. As you can see, I got the junction going through the firewall there. Here's all our new harness. This, for the most part, should be pretty easy to set up. Now I even have the heating AC control off the 94, but I'm not sure if it's going to work with the factory S10. I believe this is it. It wasn't connected when I got the truck, But now one thing I'm thinking about doing is go ahead and removing all this, getting rid of the stock heater itself and running an aftermarket heater like I did in the Black Widow. Because one, that heater works extremely well. It's a simple and easy hookup, and it weighs a ton less than everything in here does, so it's going to save weight and create a lot of space under the dash. Not that I necessarily need it, because most of the wiring's going to be over here, but for the most part, it's just going to be a space saver and work great. Now here's the old harness, and like I said, there's things that were cut. There's things, honestly, I don't even know where it went to. Another end cut, wherever that went. As you can see, this harness is not the greatest. And actually, the thing is, I did not cut anything off when I pulled it out. I pulled it out as is, so all this is actually as it was when I got it, including stuff like this, which was actually supposed to plug into the HEI. The other half is around here somewhere. It just fell apart. So I really did not want to use any of this since I didn't have to. And everything was just kind of laying around anyway, so I didn't want to guess at it. I was rather use the harness I already know is good and is unmodified. and for the most part, everything is currently somewhat in place up here where I need it. Now I can't finish this until the dash goes in. That'll be after the new heater core. As you can see, went ahead and removed the factory air box. The hole down there, they try to use that foam sealer. Once I get the headers on, if there's enough clearance, I'm actually going to run the rest of the wiring through there instead of drilling a new hole. From the outside inside, where it hooks up to the ECM and the other half of the harness. Once the dash is also painted and repaired, everything will go in here. The only modification I have to do on the inside is this right here. I'll go ahead and change the wiring up, because right here is the brake light switch from the 94, and on this we still have the old style brake light switches, so I'm gonna have to use the old ones off the harness and splice them onto this and call it good there. Other than this laying here temporarily until I get under the truck and run it back along the frame well, that will be there. And as I was saying, all this will go through there, hopefully. Alright, now I used the existing hole down there for the wiring harness. I have used some trim over the edges to protect the wiring. I made a little panel to block off the rest of the hole instead of using foam like the previous owner. So I got a little touch up on paint down there, a little touch up right there. But now I was trying to go with a kind of factory look on the wiring, and I think that kind of gets it there. And obviously this does not really look the best. Stands out a little bit more than what I like, just because it's the old faded color. So I'm probably going to do a little detail on that as well in the future. Alright, there you have it. It's in, and for the most part it's done, except for what I need to run down the frame into the rear. There's a little bit of modifications I have to do. A lot of things still obviously I can't do. Obviously it's a different day. It's earlier today. It's because a few things happened last night. One, as you see, it got really cold all of a sudden. Two, I guess Mother Nature thought my mud was dehydrated, so it decided to rain some more. And I'm actually lucky I'm not sinking in place right here, right now. But that is actually throwing me off of things I could be doing under the truck. But parts are coming in, so I still have things to do up here, such as the fan should be here anytime. So I can get the electric fan mounted up and get all this taken care of, or I can put the grill in, make it start looking more like a complete truck. I actually do have a set of wheels. I need to get tires for them. They're actually off my buddy's 55 Chevrolet. He was just using it to roll around on. So got some lug nuts that are coming in, and I'm going to try to test fit them, see how well they work, and see how well it looks, as well as a few other things that are coming. Waiting for it to get a little bit warmer, which it should any time, so I can fix the dash, make it look good, and stick it in. I'll have the aftermarket underdash heater, just like I installed in the 80, that I'll be putting in this. I have one of those coming, and hopefully it will fit under there. If not, I'll make it fit, because what I didn't realize at first is, yeah, it had the heater cord in the box and everything. They have completely removed the blower motor, and that's gone, so I decided that was the best route to go. Now, there's a few touch-ups up here to do. There's a few things on the wiring I will have to do. There's a few spots I'll have to adapt other things to, such as the windshield wiper motor. I will have to, hopefully it's on the old wiring harness. Hopefully the plug's still there. I don't know what all they cut off, so that I can hook up the windshield wipers. The side marker lights, I'll have to use the ones off the old harness and adapt to the new harness, as well as the bumper turn signals down there, because the socket is actually a little big on the 94 wiring harness, so you actually can't get up in there and get it in there just right. So I'm going to use the ones off the harness for this truck, and I'll probably have to do the same with the taillights, I'm sure, but I'll make it work. That's no issue at all. And that little bit there of modifying the wiring harness does not bother me at all. Everything else is fit. I have not had to cut anything down to length or anything, so everything is going good. Now, the headers, once it dries up, I'll get up under there and figure out what to do about fitment, because I do see some fitment issues and I'll need to address that. The drive shaft has been cut down. I cut it down actually at work in the fab shop, and hopefully I can get some new joints installed in it, and I'm going to go ahead and have it balanced just to be on the safe side. So there we go. It's coming along. Like I said, there's some details still to do under the hood of this to make it look a lot better. But this truck is coming along very nicely. It is staying under budget. And for the most part, the budget on this is not very high. I believe most people could afford this. So the wiring harness was a pain to deal with. I believe it was the right step to do in doing it this way. Now there's plenty more coming on, so make sure you're subscribed, keep watching, and as always, thanks for watching.